since Saturday night, as you've analyzed what happened, what have you made of that game now with a little bit more time for some hindsight as far as what you guys didn't have in Iowa?
Well, Iowa was really good. Make no mistake about that. And we just weren't as sharp as we needed to be. We too many empty possessions, too many wasted possessions. We broke our system in terms of what we were supposed to. Guys were switching when we don't switch. They didn't switch when we were supposed to. I mean, just a lot of. It's one of those games, as I said after game. You have these and you don't like them.
Was it effort? Was it mental? Was it?
Probably a little bit of all, to be honest with you.
So how do you address that?
Well, I mean, we playing better is an option, and we have to play better. We have to play smarter. We have to play tougher. We have to play more together. We have to just a lot of things. I mean, it just was a bad game in terms of that.
You said last week that you've kind of given up trying to figure out who's going to be ready to go pregame and whatnot, but in that game, when you find out Jock's not playing, did you get the sense that the guys maybe let the foot off the gas, maybe took it too easy, warm-up? I mean, like...
No, because we didn't know until 8 minutes before the game. Yeah, so it wasn't like, anything, we knew the day of the game or anything like that.
Do you guys do, as a coaching staff, maybe any reevaluation of yourselves and sort of how you prepare this team when it goes on the road? Because it's not the first time it's happened, and I know at a certain point,
right,
the guys on the floor just have to do what they have to do. But
we do. We look at everything. Anything you can imagine, we look at it, from how we sit in a film session to where guys sit to how close to the screen to what we eat, when we eat. All that stuff. I mean, game day shoot-arounds, the order that we show film in, you name it, we look at it.
So I guess, is it any more difficult with this particular group to get a read on what's going to happen maybe than you've had in the past in terms of how they're going to come out to start a game?
I think it's... Every team has its unique qualities. The funny thing is, like, our defense was tremendous the first 5 minutes of the game the other night. I think we held them to like 2 points or whatever. But we missed 8 straight shots, and we just weren't very sharp. We weren't scoring either. And Minnesota game, the game before, we were excellent to start the game. So I don't know. I can't pinpointed this for damn sure.
How much did foul trouble impact things?
I don't make excuses. It did affect us. There's no question about that. But that's part of the deal. And we have to be better than that when it does hit us, because sitting 3 starters there, put JT back in at the end for offense, but that plays a little bit of a role. But with that said, you have to be, as a player, if you're out, you got to get yourself ready to go back in and play.
Like the night that Trevor had, I know we've talked a lot to you after good games and bad games, and you've said, he's got to stay engaged. Once he got 1 or 2, did that then lead to 3? Did that lead to 4? Did that with him?
Yeah, I mean, the sequence goes that way: 1, 2, 3, 4.
But I mean, did
but
getting 1?
I know. Yeah, the 2 of the fouls I wasn't sold on. One, definitely, to this day, I still don't know what the call was. I don't understand it. But the one where he lowered his shoulder. God dang, there had been contact like tremendous throughout the course of the game. But the 4th one, I think, when he nudged it out of bounds, that was probably a frustration foul.
And how hard, the way that he had been playing lately, when he doesn't get a couple of baskets early, or when it seemed like they were really packing the paint and they made it tough for him for anybody to get in there, was that a case of them keeping you out, or were you guys not as aggressive as you needed to be getting inside?
Well, a little bit of both, I think. But just from the standpoint, the zone, he didn't work the zone the way he needed to work the zone to get the ball, and that was probably the big. I mean, first possession we went to them, they doubled. We almost got a shot clock violation, but Trevor's very good at playing out of the double teams. He does a great job with that.
We talked about consistency last week, and Pat brought it up too, but is there a way to coach consistency in your players, whether that be in-game or in practice?
You hope that there's a certain standard that guys are going to hold themselves and their teammates to in terms of 109 practices today. This team has had a tendency to go back, and we sort of start over, and I think that's sort of been one of the challenges with this group of just continuing to demand as much as we possibly can, and I've said it all along. We've played some excellent basketball. There's no doubt about it, and for whatever reason, and as I said, opened up. I mean, Iowa had a lot to do with it. Dang, they were really, really good that night.
And you've had teams like this before. Like, I think the 2013 team had a really bad loss at Illinois, and then somehow turned it around and almost made a Final Four. What quality in those teams that made them able to turn it around from inconsistency?
I don't know. I mean, I think was it 12? We hit a slide in late February and ended up going to the Final Four. Sometimes it has to click. You look at the landscape of college basketball right now, and there's not a lot of there's a lot of wow or those type of games, and we had that the other night, and hopefully we turn out. We got a great opponent tomorrow night in Maryland, and we're going to have to play 10 times better than we played Saturday night.
You mentioned you were pleased with how you guys played defensively the first 5 minutes there against Iowa, but they kind of got going the rest of the game. When you guys struggle defensively, what is it that you're seeing? Is there one or two things that you can pinpoint that allow teams to get going on you?
Yeah, I always say five guys connected, and at the beginning of the game we had that. You look at the first possession, we get driven and we rotate to stop the drive. They kick it and we block the shot. There were three guys that weren't involved in the play that helped the play. That they were playing basketball. We had a flow to what we were doing, and we weren't high enough on screens. We weren't active enough. We didn't have ball pressure. I mean, we were like orange cones out there in terms of what they were able to run against us.
You take Jock out of there. I totaled this up. Your starters had over 400 games of experience. Their starters had like 160. At what point do you kind of just say, you've got to play with poise, you've got to play, you have so much more experience than this group of players you're playing against that you should understand the effort it takes to win in a road environment like that.
Right.
What point do you
The
cross that bridge, I guess?
16-minute timeout, the 12-minute timeout, the 8-minute timeout, the 4-minute timeout, halftime, the 16-minute timeout, all the way down to yesterday. So it's a great question, but
For it to have happened now in a couple games this year, I don't know. What can you say to kind of shake them out of this thing that they get into? I guess.
well, they've got to want to shake themselves out of it in terms of the ancient proverb that teacher can't teach until the student wants to learn, but with that said, we've had some tremendous moments of basketball, and we got to find the ingredient that makes us play that way, and knowing, hey, it's a long season, it's a grind. We're getting ready to hit February here in a couple days, and this is where the tough get going. There's no question about it.
That Maryland, what jumps off the screen at you when you?
Well, guard play, obviously. I think Trimble is one of the best guards in college basketball, and everything that he does. We're going to see a lot like in Nebraska. We're going to see a ton of ball screens. They're going to be very aggressive defensively. They shoot the ball really well. I mean, guys are. They've got a lot of guys that have had really, really big games, and at times we've sort of been that get well card for guys, and we're going to have to we have to be a lot more aggressive defensively, a lot more active. We got to rebound the basketball better than we did the other night.
How much of success, failure tomorrow is, I mean, I know you've got to scout them, you got to be ready for their actions, but it's just you guys.
Yeah, we got to play. The bottom line, we have to play our best basketball tomorrow night. To quote Jim Trussell many years ago, we have to be better than we are. And to this day, I still don't know what that means, but it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard in my life. And so, you know, with that said, that's well, you're right. I mean, we have to come out and play energized and passionate because we're playing a great basketball team, not a good team, a great team.
Watching the game and then rewatching it today, Jaquan seemed to be talking a lot in that game, and I'm wondering if that was good talking or bad talking.
Bad talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was wrong with him in that game?
I asked him at the 16-minute, the 12-minute, the 8-minute, the 4. No, I don't know. You know, things didn't go well early, and I think he got a little bit frustrated, and his frustration sort of took over his mindset, and that's why we weren't able to ever draw a line. I mean, we were never able to make that run we talked about after the game where, okay, we're not in bad shape here, but something good has to happen. And every time we did something right, they did something right, and we couldn't stop it.
So how do you address that with Jaquan? I mean, is that a game where do you have to sit down and talk to him? Do you do anything extra with him if you're not happy with the way he's talking to his teammates on the court?
Yeah, I mean, it's been addressed. I mean, there's no question about that. And yeah, I mean, that was addressed yesterday. And after the game.
And Derek hasn't addressed anything for the last 2 games or so?
He's had strep throat.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Jacob asked you about teams that you've had that have, you know, had these bad losses and then responded positively, but is there any concern from being around these guys that they will respond negatively, that you, I mean, fall off the edge type of thing?
You know, I don't think so. I haven't seen anything. I just want us to play tomorrow night. Let's lay it all on the line and let the chips fall where they may. I mean, that's when we play our best basketball. All right, thank you.